Hi, my name is Aaron, and today I will be talking about ancient Mediterranean art. Ancient Mediterranean art consists of various types of art from all over the Mediterranean region from the years 3500 BC to about 300 AD. When looking back and studying ancient Mediterranean art, the most notable and famous art primarily came from ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, and ancient Rome. Ancient Egyptian art is among the oldest types of ancient Mediterranean art. It includes paintings, sculptures, architecture, jewelry, and many other art types. Ancient Egyptian art typically portrayed an idealized, unrealistic view of the world, and this art style changed very little over time. One of the oldest pieces of Mediterranean art comes from ancient Egypt around the year 3000 BC and is known as the Palette of King Narmer. The artist is anonymous, but the Palette of King Narmer demonstrates the early notions of power and authority in ancient Egypt, a concept in art that continues right up to the end of the Egyptian Empire. King Narmer was credited for unifying Lower and Upper Egypt, and this is what the illustration on the palette depicts. The pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx of Giza are among some of the most impressive structures ever built in the world. The pyramids and the Sphinx were built around 2500 BC. These massive structures served as tombs for Egyptian pharaohs or kings from the Old Kingdom. It took workers approximately 20 years to build the pyramids and the Sphinx because they had to stack these enormous bricks individually. King Tut's or Tutankhamun's tomb was the innermost coffin of King Tut, which was made around 1323 BC specifically to bury King Tut in after he died. The innermost coffin of the tomb was made from solid gold and precious gems because the Egypt kings or pharaohs were considered gods and they believed that the gods had skin made of gold. When creating this tomb, the Egyptian artists used lines and color to create patterns that are animal-like, such as wing or scale patterns. Ancient Greek art was a very unique type of art that stands out among ancient Mediterranean art. Ancient Greek art is known for its development of naturalistic but idealized depictions of the human body. Typically, largely nude male figures were generally the focus of innovation. The sculpture Discus Thrower, or Discobulus, by the artist Myron, depicts a man in the midst of throwing a discus. Myron created the original discus thrower statue around 425 BC out of copper, but since the original has been lost and many replicas have been made of various materials. Some elements of design Myron used for his sculpture are line, space, texture, and form. He was able to sculpt a three-dimensional shape by using these elements to create a very realistic and smooth texture. The next sculpture is called Varrokynian Athena, which was made in 438 BC by a famous sculptor named Phidias. The picture shown is actually a replica of the original that was made around 200 to 250 AD, and the original is actually 12 times bigger than this replica. But since the original was lost, there are no photos of it. The original sculpture was a testament to Athena's power, which made that piece of art nearly unparalleled for its time. Ancient Roman art includes architecture, painting, sculptures, and mosaic work. Ancient Roman art is also one of the most recent types of ancient Mediterranean art, and since it is one of the most recent forms, they got a lot of inspiration from several places, but most notably Greece. This sculpture is known as Augusta of Prima Porta, and it is a full-size portrait statue of Augustus Caesar, the first emperor of the Roman Empire. This sculpture was made in the 1st century AD by an unknown artist and was believed to be a copy of a lost bronze original displayed in Rome. the artist used space and form to create a realistic and accurate sculpture of the first Roman emperor. And lastly, the Colosseum. The Colosseum was an amphitheater built in the center of the city of Rome in the 1st century AD. The Colosseum was made primarily of limestone, concrete, bricks, and was used for gladiator fights, public speeches, mock fights, and many other things. Although it was substantially ruined by earthquakes and stone robbers, the Colosseum is still an iconic symbol of Imperial Rome and was listed as one of the new 7 wonders of the world. When Roman architects first created the Colosseum, they used line, form, and space to create a huge structure that was very advanced for its time. They created the sturdiest and plainest arches at the bottom and the slenderest and richest arches at the top to support the entire Colosseum. And here are the artworks I used, the materials that were used in them, and when they were created. And here's my works cited. I hope you all learned a little bit more about ancient Mediterranean art.